Imagine you're driving home late at tea night. The road is empty, silence surrounds you, and the only sound is the hum of your car. Suddenly, strange lights appear in the sky, following you. At first, you think it's just a plane, but then the lights move in ways no plane ever could. This is exactly what happened to Betty and Barney Hill, a couple from New Hampshire whose terrifying experience became the world's most famous alien abduction case. It was September 19th, 1961. Betty and Barney Hill had just finished a vacation in Canada and were driving back to their home in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It was late, around 10:30 p.m., when Betty noticed a strange light in the sky. At first, she assumed it was a star, but it grew brighter, larger, and began moving erratically. Barney pulled the car over, grabbed his binoculars, and looked closer. What he saw made his blood run cold. It wasn't a star. It wasn't a plane. He claimed it was a craft, silent, metallic, and it was watching them. As the object drew closer, Barney swore he saw figures inside, humanoid shapes peering down at them from windows. Panic surged through him. He jumped back into the car and shouted to Betty, "They were going to capture us." He floored the gas pedal, speeding down the empty road. But the object followed. The lights danced above the treetops, moving silently, intelligently, as if it was toying with them. And then the Hills heard a series of strange buzzing noises. Moments later, everything went black. When Betty and Barney finally came to, they were 35 miles down the road. Neither of them remembered how they got there. The drive that should have taken 2 hours had taken 7. They stumbled into their home, shaken, confused. Something had happened to them, but they couldn't piece it together. In the days that followed, Betty began having vivid, terrifying dreams. She dreamt of being taken aboard a spacecraft, surrounded by tall beings with large, slanted eyes. In her dreams, they examined her, probed her, and then released her. In 1964, still haunted by the experience, the Hills underwent hypnosis sessions with psychiatrist Dr. Benjamin Simon. Under hypnosis, Barney screamed, cried, and shook in terror as he described being led into a ship by creatures he couldn't explain. He remembered being placed on a table, strange instruments moving over him, and a feeling of utter helplessness. Betty's account matched his almost perfectly, even though the two were hypnotized separately. But the most chilling detail came later. Betty claimed that one of the beings showed her a star map, explaining where they came from. Years later, an amateur astronomer compared her drawing of the map to real star systems. The pattern she drew matched the Zeta Reticuli system, a pair of stars 39 light years away. How could Betty have known about a star system that scientists hadn't even studied yet? To this day, the Betty and Barney Hill case remains one of the most detailed and disturbing abduction stories ever recorded. Skeptics say it was stress, dreams, or imagination. Believers argue it was the first documented case of alien contact in modern history. So what really happened that night on the lonely road in New Hampshire? Were Betty and Barney Hill simply victims of their own minds? Or did they truly encounter something not of this world? One thing is certain, their story continues to haunt us and forces us to ask a question humanity has never been able to answer. Are we truly alone in the universe?